Familia, welcome to another edition of Hispanicize Hangout. I'm your boy, Enrique Zapene.
And I'm Jessica Flores, and today we have none other than the badass Danay Garcia from Fear the Walking Dead. Let's get it.
Hey, familia, and welcome to another edition of Hispanicize Hangout. I am super happy to be here today with my girl, Jess. Jess, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm here. I'm so excited. Man, this is like the best part of my whole week being on quarantine. And we had such an incredible guest with us, Danay Garcia. Hi, Mama. How are you?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. This is like
No, thank
perfect.
you for being with us. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Yeah, no, let's do it. This is like my best, the best part of the day. It's good.
You're
Well, you
ready.
look beautiful. First of all, I wanted to start the whole interview with you by knowing where are you? Where are you staying right now, dealing with what's happening in the crazy world right now?
Well, I'm still in Austin, Texas. This is where I shoot the show. So basically, we shut down, and then I had to like put stuff together, and then everything got worse and worse and worse. And it just got to a point that I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay here. There's no need to just go to LA. Austin right now is like my second home because I spend most of my time shooting the show here. So just like I decided not to fly or do nothing. And LA is pretty intense right now too. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill. And that's what I've been doing here. I'm in Austin, Texas. Yeah. The weather has been great. So it's good.
Austin is a great place for sheltering in place right now, particularly because it's so artsy and the
Yes.
people are friendly. So it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah. It's not a huge city. Like, if you go to the market, it's not like massive amount of people. It's like, we've well put together here. So it's good.
Yeah, and you're working on, one of the most popular shows right now, Fear of the Walking Dead. And I feel like it's a little bit ironic that that show is kind of about a virus that changes the world. Like, how does that feel for you, literally being on a show that in a way kind of represents what we're going through? Obviously not as intense, but
Oh my
it's
God.
crazy.
It's weird because I've been doing the show for like almost 5 years. And this has been the question I always got for 5 years. Like, what does it feel like working on a show where there's a virus? And I'm like, guess what? We're living it right now. It's like, I feel like that question should never come my way ever. But
Yeah.
I just feel like, every time I go out and we're all covered and all that, it's weird because on the show we actually see walkers. You see who is infected and who's not, and you kind of like know who to go away from or run away or get rid of. But in this case, it's like so abstract, and it's so, you don't know where is the infection. It's in the air. You don't know who has it. Nobody show. So it's more, I think it's creepy. It's scary. And because you don't sense anything where it comes from or who to, where's the hot spot, and
Yeah.
and it's weird that I'm experiencing that too. And weird enough, we got to shoot half of the season, right? And most of my scenes are, I have a face mask. And actually, the trailer came out in which I am all covered, like I am covered right now. So it's like,
Wow.
it's
It's
just a
almost
weird
serendipitous.
thing. It's like, that's when life imitates art.
Mhm.
No, art imitates life. and
Yeah.
and I'm in a weird position in which that's been my reality since November,
And do
and
you feel
now I'm
like
living it in real life.
Yeah, and do you feel like you've learned something from your character and being in that environment with everything that went on with the virus and everything that happened in your show? Do you feel like you've kind of learned from your character and what she went through? And do you feel like you're kind of applying that now, or is that kind of just more, I don't know?
No, it's definitely a different world, right? We're still civilized. We can connect. There's internet. There's
Yeah.
we can do this live, and thank goodness for that. I don't take it for granted. But definitely the isolation, the fact that we can't communicate in a, that we're social creatures. We like to, go to the market and talk to people. Now you have to do it from far away, and things are, you feel more isolated. So that's something that I've been living on the show. Like, my characters, it's not like we go to, to a place and we make friends. We have to, like, learn little by little that it's a process, and you have to keep your eyes open to see what comes at you. And that's basically, in a weird way, what I've been experiencing, like it's so similar.
So you're very spiritual, and do you feel that the parallels right now between your show and reality, are you used to get into character and thinking and meditating of what if the situation was real, how would I handle it, now applying it onto your real life?
Absolutely. Because I spend so many months out of the year in such an intense state emotionally, like actors, we work with our emotions. So every time I get a script in which there's a battle, there's like, you physically have to be strong mentally. You have to memorize your lines. You have to say it on time, like everything is happening. So what I usually do, I meditate my day before the day. So when my day comes, I'm like centered, I'm focused, and my day, flows. I'm finding myself meditating through the day to get through the day. And it's weird. It's the weirdest thing. And it's not because things are blowing or like it's more emotional, and it's more uncertainty of the unknown, of the until when this is going to happen. And it's just meditating a day at a time. And it is so funny. You just mentioned that I just meditated before talking to you guys because it's like, okay, I just want to be as honest and raw as possible. And, I mean, it's now you really have to take a day at a time. And that's basically life in the apocalypse, a day at a time. And if you have to meditate, you have to work out, do yoga, just make yourself strong for tomorrow. And not just for yourself, but for the people you love, like you're going to be around people that are not as, zen as you are. I mean, you have Latino family around that, it's like they start asking you a lot of questions. ¿Hasta cuándo es esto? I don't know. So it's, you have to be, I find myself meditating just like I'm on the show. It's weird.
Yeah, we're Latinos, and intense comes with the contract, right? That's like policy number one. Or no, I'm lying. Policy number one is drama. Number two is intensity.
Yes,
totally.
And actually, speaking of your Latino roots and all that stuff, I mean, you were bringing such a strong Latina character to light, Luciana. So tell me, like, when you got that script and you started reading about her, how did you start making those character decisions on how you were going to portray her? I mean, like I said, she's a strong Latina. You know what represents a lot of us Latinas, again, strong willpower. I mean, so how did you start making those decisions when you got your script for Luciana?
When I first got the show, I didn't know the entire arc of this character. I just knew, like, they don't tell you anything because it's so unpredictable. People die. They don't want to say that ahead of time, and you're brand new into this world, and it's a universe that you have to jump in. So it's a lot to take in. So I just believe that every time people tell me, how does it feel to play a badass woman? And I just feel like every woman is a badass. Like, how does it feel to be a woman? Well, we're all badasses. Like, it's the way it is. Like, we don't have to. So my sense is that, I feel like people think that, how does it feel to be a badass woman? That means that they think that there's not a badass woman out there. Mm-hmm. And I disagree with that. I feel like everyone is a badass. Everybody really can conquer. Women, we really have like a temper. So that's something that we have, above. But it comes from grandma. It comes from like, back in the day. Like, oh, look, I'm wearing a Frida Kahlo. Like, you want more badass than Frida? Yeah. So I just felt like I have a huge responsibility to show, being vulnerable, being strong, being powerful, and being, if you have to cry, cry. Like, it's part of being a woman. And I really cared about playing a woman with all those layers because that's what makes us, real. And I wanted real people to connect with her. And I think that was my biggest goal. I didn't want just because my character is from Tijuana, from the border of Mexico, the US, but I just want everybody, the entire Latin America, entire, Europe, everybody to relate to her. And I think that was the success of her, is that I connected all layers of what it's like to be a woman.
Well, I think it's fantastic that you're using the platform and the opportunity to break stereotypes and to depict women in a different position than, the victim or like the one being saved by the male superhero. And on the vein of what you're talking about, your character being from Tijuana, you're originally from Cuba.
Yes.
And you were started as a ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had a long journey to get to where you're at now. How does that, Danay, relate to building up the blocks to creating this character?
In my real life, based on, the extremes that I've been through, I just don't see obstacles. I think problems come to be resolved. I think, when you see a problem, don't think of like, oh, this is the end of my life. Like, we're so used to just going there like that. And I just look at it like, you know what, this is a problem and it's here because it needs to be resolved. And I'm going to maneuver, I'm going to innovate my way out of this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And that's how I've been doing it. I don't think of the problems that could possibly come in a week from now. I think that's why I attract characters that are in high stakes, because I just think of, how can I just deal with this zombie right here? How can I deal with this? Like right now, I don't have time to worry about it. So I became a mom at 17, and when you become a parent so young, like you don't think, oh my God, when this child is 5, well, like what are going to be my problems? You're dealing with a 2-year-old. That's it. Like this is it. You can't think of nothing else. The kid starts to run after the kid. You can't think of like math in 4 years. So I think and also in ballet, it taught me that you start training every day. Eventually you're going to do a pirouette. Eventually you're going to do a solo. But it takes time, and you don't look at problems like it's the end of the world. And I think that's been my success. It's just been that one vision in life.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you've actually gotten to act in English and in Spanish. Do you ever feel like the emotions are different? Personally, for me, I love to sing, right?
Yes.
So when I sing in Spanish, I get so much more emotional when I sing my rancheras and stuff. I just feel it differently. Is it kind of similar, would you say, when you're acting and you're talking English, and then it's is it different when you kind of switch back and forth, or how does that feel?
It definitely does. My parents and my entire family love when I act in Spanish. They're like, because in English they usually have a delay. They have to read. They laugh. It's like, wow. So, but for me personally, the journey is different. I feel more connected to the words, obviously, and also the sense of humor. Like the sense of humor, the sarcasm. I used to be so late in English when it comes to sarcasm. I'm like, oh, is that supposed to be funny?
You're like,
I don't know where it comes from. Like, what?
Yeah,
I missed it, and I always miss the entire thing. Like somebody had to explain it to me in English.
You know what's really funny? It's it happens to me all the time when I try to switch, sayings in Spanish, mejor pájaro en mano que cien volando, or
oh my God.
and you translate them, and people look at you like,
you're insane. What? You're insane.
Sana que sana colita de rana. Have you ever tried translating that to English?
No. It's impossible. Sana que sana colita de rana. Imagínate.
Yeah.
Say, the
heel, frog, but I don't even know.
And that's what grandmas will tell a little child. Like if you tell that it's a little kid in English, will run away from you.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I mean, you got your first break with Sofia Lugo on Prison Break, which is such a great show. I'm a big fan of the show. And how did that change your life?
Oh my God. When I was auditioning for the show, I heard of it because I know Camille Wady, the Marisol character. I heard of it. I wasn't watching a lot of television at the time, but when I got it, I shot it, and I remember the actors, Dominic Purcell and Wentworth and Amaury, they were telling me, oh, the fans in Europe. And I wasn't thinking of the world that big. I was just like, when you're shooting, it's just you on the camera. Like right now, this is personal. But you don't know that this personal moment can reach the entire world, and they can be connected to you on a deeper level. I didn't know that. So when it came out, and then I went to Europe for the first time, I remember at the airport, people were saying my character's name and my name, and it was the weirdest thing. I was so humbled. I felt so touched. I felt like they were trying to tell me thank you for doing this, and I just want to thank the crew. Like I'm like, it was not all me. So it was just such a beautiful, profound moment in which I realized that we're really so close and so far at the same time, you know, and how far stories can travel and how much you can touch people with them. And the weird, the great story about Prison Break that really touched my heart was my grandma was really sick, and I thought that she was gonna pass, and she's still alive, and she's trying to figure out what's happening right now. But anyway, she was in a really bad place, and Prison Break was in Cuba, and at that time I couldn't travel to Cuba because of the way, you know, the situation between Cuba and the U.S. And I called my grandma and I said, Grandma, I'm sorry I cannot go. And she just said to me, don't worry, I'm looking at you. And I didn't know what she meant. She was looking at Prison Break, so she felt so close to me. And that's what Prison Break means to me. It's like a prison break. It's like, it was a way for my family to see me for the first time since I left, and I'm in complete debt to that show. It just brought so many beautiful things, personally and obviously professionally.
Well, I think I kind of want to share with you like a little bit on a personal level. One of my favorite projects that you did was Lisa Septiembre.
Oh, yes.
I am Venezuelan.
Oh, you are?
I am Venezuelan, yes. And
from where?
From Caracas.
Oh, I love Caracas.
Yeah. But the way that the movie played your relationship between the girls, it was just like a better version of like Latino Sex and the City, where, you know, that sisterhood, and you made the character, Venezuela became a character with you guys. And it was just beautiful. I was so proud to see you in that film, and to see what a fantastic job you did with Mimi Lasso and
Patricia. Yeah. It was you know, when Fina Torres, the director, came to me with a project, she basically said, oh, well, Danay, you know, it's 8 women stuck in an island. I'm like, oh, I'm in. What? 8 women stuck in an island? Like, something terrible is going to happen. Like, in Venezuela, like most of, you know, all the girls in Venezuela, just me. I'm like, yeah. I was like, so that was a fantastic film. I love working in Venezuela. I love Venezuela. I love arepas. I can't wait until the entire thing opens up to have an arepa.
Oh my God! And breaking stereotypes. Breaking stereotypes. On that conversation we were talking about, you played an LGBTQ character, and it was so well rounded. It almost became like the element of LGBTQ was just like a side note on it, because all these women were so, you really found that they were so interesting, and they had full lives. You know, they were doctors, they were in relationships, they were trying to work. It was fantastic.
They were mothers. They were mothers. They were like, you know, wanting to experience other motherhood and death, and, you know, life and death, and what you're going to have left. And it's basically love. And that's all we've got. And that's what I love, characters. That's why when people tell me like badass women, I just feel like each one of those women in that movie, they are badasses, you know, going through ups and downs, difficult times. It's like, and Venezuela was one of these beautiful places in which I got to connect with my Latino roots, because we're so similar too. Like once you know, I spent like so much time in Morrocoy shooting that movie, in Todasana shooting that movie. It was just so amazing. Like, oh my God, eating arepas and everything that you see is like.
Oh, that's so awesome. And you've obviously played roles that are badass women, but you yourself are so multifaceted. I mean, you have also recently wrote and directed a feature film, La Cura. I mean, that's incredible. Tell me a little bit about like, when you knew acting and the arts was your passion, how early on did you know you wanted to also write and also, you know, direct yourself, not just be an actress? You
know, I just, every time I try new things that I've never done before, I always ask myself one question: what's the worst that would happen? Is anybody going to die? No. Is anybody going to like, you know, I think of the worst case scenario. And when I see that nobody's going to get hurt, nobody's going to die, like I'm going to like be okay, everybody will be fine, I just jump into it. I don't want to hurt anybody first. So then I started writing the first page, and I'm like, I'm going to write another one. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. Okay. And so little by little, we were on set, and then I'm like, oh my God, it's raining. Oh, we're not gonna make the day, but hey, what's the worst gonna happen? Well, it's gonna stop raining. We're gonna keep shooting. Okay, keep going. Like, it was just one of those things that I don't know who taught me this whole thing, but it's just been. I try to keep it light. Like the entire world is like falling apart, and I'm like, what's the worst that would happen? Well, you're right. Well, let's keep shooting. It's rain is fantastic. It's great production value.
Can we please bottle you and all have a little bit of you at home in this crazy times?
Yes.
I know.
And I know you go on live a lot as well, and you do,
I've been doing that.
I need to tune into the next one, girl, because I'm going crazy here.
Oh my God. I've been doing live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I did one today. And what I do is like, I karaoke for like 15 minutes. Bear in mind, I don't sing. You're a singer. I've never taken a sing. So I'm not like great. And I sing in Spanish and English. So when I go into English, I'm like, even though it's written in front of me, I don't know what is happening, but I just carry on. But today I sung We Are the World. So as I was going with the whole We Are the World, I started crying. And I'm like, we are the world. We need to be together. And the Cuban in me came out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And we're like, why is everything so, we exist together. We can do it. And I'm like, if I'm starting my day like this, imagine when I'm going to Zoom with like NGL, like what's going to happen?
Well, and if you didn't have enough cool things happening and great projects, you now have 50 States of Fright on Quibi.
I know, yes.
With Sam Raimi producing.
Yes.
Please tell me about it, because I mean, this is amazing. This is such a cool project.
It is a cool project, and basically it's called 50 States of Fright, and every state has a scary story. So Alejandro Brujes is a Cuban director. He directed Juan de los Muertos, Shaun of the Dead, in Cuba, which is hilarious. And he called me. He said, "Hey, guess what? You're gonna play a Cuban, and the story is in Florida." I'm like, "How can we make Florida scary? Like that's weird. Like I can't even imagine." Hey, guess what? We made Florida scary. It goes from one extreme to another. And I'm like, when I'm in Vancouver shooting this thing, and bear in mind, we turned Vancouver into Florida. Only Cubans can do that. Like only Latinos can do that.
Did they open our in Canada?
Yes. Yeah, no, they carry palm trees like everywhere. Like we would shoot, they would put a palm tree behind me. Like I'm like, this is unbelievable. It was it was very ambitious, and it turned out so well. It's coming out on the 27th. I'm very, very excited. I play a Cuban woman. She's basically a cop, and she gets she's in Florida. She gets a phone call, and it's about a goat, like a dead goat, and it starts there, and then once she makes it to where that issue is, it goes down to this a spiral, as you call it.
Spiral.
Yeah. So it's very intense. Yes, it's fun.
Oh, that's so exciting. Well, you know what? Something that we like to do to kind of finish things off is the speed round. I'm going to be asking you 10 questions. It's the shelter in place speed round. 10 questions, the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Lista.
All right. What's the first thing you want to do when quarantine is lifted?
Go to the beach.
Go to the beach.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, or a combo of more than one?
Everything.
All of it.
All of it. I can't afford to lose. I don't know how long this is it. I mean.
Yeah, for real. All right, what's your newest binge obsession to watch?
Ozark. Oh,
Ozark.
Ozark, great. La Casa de las Flores. Oh my God.
Yes!
Oh
yes!
my God.
Yes!
Oh, la Casa de la Mora. Oh my God.
Everybody keeps telling me that. I'm like, I need to get on this.
I just watched yesterday 4 episodes. I am into the 70s, like everything is the 70s. Oh, Veronica is killing it. Cecilia Suarez is amazing.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. La
Casa de las Flores, yes.
All right, favorite comfort food right now? Like, what are you eating a lot of right now?
Oh, I'm eating a lot of this guy here. Is that comfort food? I don't even know.
Yeah, that's comfort food.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. What is this? It says protein by 3 eggs, white, 6 almonds, 4 cashews, 2 dates.
Mírala.
And it says no BS.
Being healthy.
Perfect.
I'm over here. My comfort food is like cup of noodles and pizza. Yours is a protein bar. Girl, I need to get on your level right now. I need to quarantine with you. All right. So how many days in a row have you worn the same pair of sweatpants during the quarantine?
Oh, 4 days.
4 days. I think I've hit that.
I looked, I'm like, oh no, you gotta go. You gotta
I kind of like, I whistle and they just walk out of the closet.
Yeah. Just run away from me.
I'm dead. Okay, so what are you doing to stay fit during this quarantine? I know that's something a lot of us are struggling with. So
I'm doing yoga. I just joined this thing called alomove.com, and it's like $20 a month. And I just do, sometimes I do 10 minutes. They have different classes, 10, 5, 15, 30. Alo Move is called. Yeah, and I do sit-ups.
Oh, okay. So we know that you've done some karaoke on Instagram. What's your favorite song to sing to your fans? Like, if they're requesting you to do one, which is that safe, always good choice for you?
Despacito.
Oh
my God. I don't know what's up with that song, but that was everybody goes crazy. And I don't even see them, but they're like hearts and love and
All right. So why do you love your fans so much? What separates them? Why do you have such a strong connection with them?
Because from Prison Break, I realized how close we really are. We're far, but we're very close. And I feel like, especially now, like connecting with them, being with them, going through this together since we're home all the time. We're home all the time. It just feels like you're not on your own. You're actually contributing to something, and karaoke with it, like anything that you can contribute to their to their time alone and their growth as humans. It just feels right, and why not share it? It just feels really good.
Love that. Okay, of all the characters that have died on Fear of the Walking Dead, who do you miss the most and why?
I really miss Nick.
Oh.
Well, it's Luciana's boyfriend. Like, she hasn't had a boyfriend in so long now. It sucks in the apocalypse. If anyone who doesn't have a boyfriend right now or a girlfriend, it sucks, right? So, I mean, she met this guy in the apocalypse. He's really cute, and then he dies. I was just like, oh, this sucks. And
I've heard so much. I've heard so much about so many people that say, oh, this guy that never called me before, all of a sudden is now calling me.
Yeah. You hear about all these exes reconnecting now because of quarantine. I know in that apocalypse, there's no Tinder or Bumble, so you really have nothing.
Yeah, you have nothing. You can't do any Facebook, hey, checking in with exes, nothing. Like, it's,
Because probably maybe some of your exes are infected at that point. You
don't you don't want to risk that.
Yeah. Okay, and then last speed round question. What's your positive message for the Latinx community right now during these difficult times? A lot of people are going through different things at this time.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is let's stay home for our families, for our friends. Let's make, if you're Venezuelan, let's be making arepas. If you're and anywhere you are, let's just try to contribute to each other. And seriously, people feel like they're stuck, but we're not really stuck. We're home. If you're stuck, that means that you're out of your house, stuck somewhere else. But there's nothing like being stuck at home. I mean, at the end, this is like your space, your place, you're sleeping in your bed. I mean, there's so many things to be grateful. And I think to our Latin community, let's just be grateful that we're here, we're together, and we're home. And, and let's stay strong, really. That's all we got.
Just because I see that you're so connected with feelings and how to handle them and emotion. What's your most altruistic advice right now in general for people to deal with this bizarro world that
we're in? It sounds weird, but breathing, we forget to breathe. It's very strange. It's something that we do all the time. Like right now I'm breathing, but when you make it, you close your eyes and you breathe for 5 minutes, it changes your mood. It's because what happens is anxiety comes when you are anxious, and when you're anxious, you're not breathing well. So you lose oxygen in your brain. And when you lose oxygen, you're tired, you're drained, you're exhausted, and any little information that, sorry to say, but it's negative, it becomes even worse. So sometimes we make things, bigger than what they really are. although they're really big right now, they're really bad.
Yeah.
But we have the capacity to go like even bigger. Like, I don't know how we can do that, but we have that capacity. And as Latinos, we have so much, superstition. We got all kinds of layers that we have tools to make things bigger. But if we just close our eyes and breathe, and it doesn't cost anything, it just costs a little bit of your time, patience, and a little bit of your routine. Breathe a few times a day. It will really change your life. It really, especially now, it's nice.
Wow. That was amazing. We cannot thank you enough for coming on and sharing some wisdom, telling us a little bit about your journey. It's honestly super inspiring for me because I am somebody that works in the entertainment industry, maybe not within the movie scene, more so in the music scene and stuff. And I understand the ups and downs of that. And just hearing everything you've accomplished is seriously super inspiring for me. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on with us.
Oh no, it's a pleasure. Anytime. Let's not make this just because we're quarantined. Let's just make it happen, anytime.
Please, you have to come back. Big fans, big fans.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, Mama, and we're gonna definitely do more of these. Okay?
We'll do. Thank you.
Right.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Yes.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. It was so great to have Danay on the show. I learned so much from her. What do you think, Jess?
No, I know. I actually, when it comes to everything in protecting your space and your energy, and actually the thing that really stood out about what she said is breathing. Sometimes we really forget to breathe, and that's something that can overwhelm me. Sometimes when you do intentional breathing, that can save you a lot of, tough times, I would say, get you out of a lot of really difficult situations. So that was something that really, really caught my attention. I want to know what's something that she said that you really loved.
You know what? To me, she's magical because she has like an inner peace that she projects, and it inspires you to want to have that inner peace. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, the voices in my head need to chill. I want to be more like Danay Garcia.
Right. I feel like I have all these multiple personalities. I'm crazy all the time. And with her, she's just, it does feel very pure and genuine. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have so many more coming up. We're going to have so many more amazing episodes. And I feel like things that we can learn about each other, so I'm excited for that.
And I also want to invite our viewers to please send us questions, get active with us, because they might be surprised. You might be watching the show and one of your questions will pop up and we'll get an answer for you from your favorite celebrities. So please take action. You have a platform.
Yes. Thank you again for hanging out with us here on Hispanicize Hangout, and we will see you guys next time.
See you soon. Peace.